The Legion Go 2 is here with an all-new OLED display, the AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme APU, and after spending some serious time with this device, I think Lenovo might have just nailed it. From the ergonomics, the beautiful 8.8-inch display here, which isn't rivaled by anything else just yet that hit the market in a handheld gaming device, and of course, that Z2 Extreme APU does put out some decent performance. And I understand that a lot of people were expecting a little more out of the Z2 Extreme, but for what Lenovo has put together here, I think this is one of the best handheld devices on the market, except for one glaring issue, and that's something we will go over by the end of the video. I've already posted one video taking a first look at the Legion Go 2, and since then, I've been able to spend a lot of time with this device. I've actually taken it on 2 different trips with me. This has been my go-to handheld for the last 2.5 weeks. And I'll tell you, it's really going to be hard to go to a different display after using this 8.8-inch OLED. It's got a resolution of 1920 by 1200, up to 144 Hz, and it supports VRR. So we've got a variable refresh rate OLED display here, 8.8 inches, and just to kind of give you an idea, I've taken the Steam Deck OLED, just give you a little side-by-side comparison. 50% screen brightness, both of these are running at an 800p resolution. Cyberpunk 2077, and if you take a look near the bottom, you can see that we have a brighter display on the Legion Go 2 when it comes to those hands. Tried to position it exactly the same, and right now I've got HDR off on both of these because I can't get HDR working on my Steam Deck OLED anymore. I've reinstalled the operating system, I just can't get it to work with any game, it's really odd. But I like the look of the Legion Go 2's display over the Steam Deck OLED for sure. I think it's brighter. And with HDR calibrated and enabled on the Legion Go 2, I mean, it looks absolutely amazing. In my initial video, I also talked about the overall ergonomics, and I love the feel of the Go 2. It's not as good as the Legion Go S, which in my opinion is the most comfortable handheld on the market, and I think it really comes down to the weight of the Go 2. It's one of the heavier handhelds on the market, coming in at around 920 grams, but it's balanced very well. We've got that battery in the middle, single fan cooling system for that Z2 Extreme. It doesn't feel as heavy as it really is due to the balancing of this handheld. They also added some really nice texture to these detachable controllers, and the whole unit has a new coating that's basically fingerprint resistant. Now, it's not 100%, but it's much better than the original Go was. It's really easy to access all of the buttons and I/O on this unit. Up top, we've got one USB 4 port, our volume rocker, and our power button. And the LED around the power button does indicate which power mode you're in. Plus, we've got upward firing stereo speakers, and this thing can get really loud. Down here at the bottom, we've got our switch to go into FPS mode, which is something I do want to look at in this video. Another USB 4 port, and both of these do run at 40 gigs. So you can add some really fast storage over USB in dock mode and an eGPU if you want. Micro SD card slot, and a 3.5mm audio jack. The Go 2 comes with a 65-watt charger and a nice carrying case, along with a couple accessories for FPS mode. We have the base for that right-hand side controller and a cover for the pogo pins on the controller itself. And in my opinion, it's a bit easier to detach these controllers this time around. When you compare it to the original Legion Go, I mean, these snap locks feel great. Once everything's connected, it doesn't feel flimsy at all, and you can remove these super easily. Right down here on the bottom of that right-hand side controller, we've got our FPS switch. So once we swap this over, we're going to be in FPS mode. And if you're not familiar with this, we've got that base plate. This is going to snap right in here. It's also got a nice little locking mechanism on it. And we've got that cover for the pogo pins. It's not 100% necessary, but it does make it look a little better if you're going to be in FPS mode a lot. And here it is. We can now use that right side controller as a mouse with that base plate installed. And it's super smooth. I mean, it's very accurate. You will have to adjust the sensitivity to your liking. I've adjusted it a few times just to get it right for me, but I've actually really enjoyed playing like this. And I'll tell you, I've been in dock mode with this also connected to a larger monitor. This is how I usually have it set up. So, the Legion Go will be sitting next to the monitor or TV, and I've got these on my desk to play my games. You can also navigate the full operating system with it. Works just like a mouse would. The next thing I wanted to talk about here were our performance modes with the Legion Go 2, and right now I'm in Legion Space, but you can also use the Legion Space quick menu to get here if you want. We've got a few different presets that we can use here. Quiet mode on battery is going to be 8 watts. Plugged into the wall, it's 15 watts. Balanced on battery is a 16 watt TDP. Plugged into the wall, that's going to bring us up to 25 watts. And on battery, performance is going to be 20 watts. Plugged into the wall, up to 32. Plus, we've got our custom mode here. So this is going to allow us to go anywhere from 35 watts. This is going to be our sustain. For 2 minutes, we can do a boost up to 37, and for 10 seconds, up to 45. You can also fully adjust the fan curve if you want to customize it, but we've also got some presets here from our performance, balance. You can go full speed if you need to, and I'll tell you, at full speed, this thing can get pretty loud. Now it's time to check out some real-world gaming on this thing, and I'm going to start out with my favorite arcade racer, Forza Horizon 5. The triggers here are awesome for racing games. They don't lock, so you can't lock them for a hair trigger and full linear throw. But to tell you the truth, with the handhelds that do support that, I find myself staying in the full throw mode anyway. But you can see it's pretty accurate. If you want to play some racing games on this, you've got plenty of adjustment for your brake and gas. The next thing I wanted to talk about here was the resolution of this new panel. So it's a 16:10 aspect ratio. We've got a couple really nice resolutions that we can use, all the way down from 800p. You can go to 1600 by 1000, 1920 by 1200. It's a 1200p display. Right now, I've got Forza Horizon 5 running in balanced mode, so we're a little under 15 watts with it. High settings, but I've got the resolution set at 800p, and it's not because this device won't run it at 1200p. It certainly will. Taking it up to around 18 watts will net us mid-70s with it at high settings, 1200p. But I wanted to show you how good this display looks at 800p. I actually had to go back and forth with a couple games just to make sure I was running it at a certain resolution, because even the desktop at 800p looks really good on this new OLED display. Next up, I wanted to test out this D-pad, and it is much improved over the original Legion Go. I would still love a separated D-pad. It's more of a dish style, but with this, you can play from the inside of it. It's got a really nice roll to it, or you can play from the outside. They kind of give us the best of both worlds, and it's really accurate. I've got Street Fighter 6 running here at 1200p medium settings, and we're still in balance mode, which will do up to 16 watts. But it doesn't need to take that APU all the way up to 16 watts to run this game at 60. The power management engine that they're using here is very well optimized, and I'm sure it's going to get better down the road. Checking out a few more of my favorite games, we've got The Witcher 3, 1200p medium with FSR set to balanced. We're in performance mode from Legion Space, so it's a little over 20 watts, around 22 to 23 watts here. Not too bad, and usually when we run this game on a handheld, we use that dynamic resolution scale with kind of a set FPS. I'm just using FSR here.
Not so fast, Roach.
Grand Theft Auto 5, 1200p high with FSR set to balance in performance mode. Not bad at all, and originally when I went into this game, it went to Ultra. It was right there on the edge. I did have a couple dips under 60. It was averaging around 63, but in some cases it did dip under. So I just took it to high, and it's really playable like this. Over 70 FPS on average, and we're only drawing up to around 19 watts. I also wanted to test out Spider-Man 2, and this game is one of those games that if you want to get over 60 on an iGPU, even the Z2 Extreme here at 1200p, you will need some frame gen. So it's at 1200p medium, FSR frame gen on, in performance mode from Legion Space. Another thing I've been keeping a close eye on with the Legion Go 2 is battery life. Right now, I've got this plugged into a 100-watt charger. It does support Lenovo's rapid charge system, so it can charge it up to 100 watts. And with a charger like this, it'll go from 0 to 50% in around 30 minutes. It only comes with a 65-watt charger. That's kind of a bummer. I wish it came with a 100-watt charger. But to get this thing topped up, you can do it really quickly with the correct charger. So we know we can get this thing charged up pretty quickly, but how's battery life? Well, like any device, it really depends on what you're doing with it. Right now, I've got Silksong running in quiet mode. For indie games, go into quiet mode at around 8 watts, which it's not going to pull a full 8 watts with each game. But I did some real life testing in the time that I've had this. I tested at quiet mode, balanced mode, and performance mode. Here's Cyberpunk 2077. I'm using a little bit of frame gen here because we've got a very low TDP for a game like this. But in balanced mode, we're pulling around 24 watts in total from that battery. And taking it up to performance mode, we're going to draw a little more, 28, 29 watts there. In my testing, I went through and ran this with the battery at 100% down to 0% in quiet mode, balanced mode, and performance mode. As we know, the Legion Go 2 has a 74 watt-hour battery. With this testing, I had the screen brightness set at 50%, RGB off, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth still on. In quiet mode for indie gaming, 7 hours and 4 minutes, and I was testing Hades 2. Balanced mode, AAA gaming with Cyberpunk 2077, 3 hours and 6 minutes before it died on me. And in performance mode, AAA gaming, testing out Borderlands 4, 2 hours and 17 minutes before the unit shut off. And again, if you've got a 100-watt charger, you can go from 0 to 50% in just 30 minutes, so you can get this thing charged up pretty quickly. So overall, I've been having a great time with the Legion Go 2. I do love the overall design. I think it's a slick looking handheld, really comfortable. Love the fact that we've got those detachable controllers. We can go to FPS mode or even tablet mode. So if you wanted to use a separate controller, you could do that. Dual USB 4 ports up to 40 gigs. So if you wanted to connect an eGPU, not a problem to do so. When it comes to the AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme, I know a lot of people were expecting better performance, including myself, given that we've got that 16 compute unit iGPU. And to tell you the truth, we're not getting that much more than we did out of the Z1 Extreme. At lower wattages, this does outperform, but at those higher wattages, I mean, they're really on par with each other. They do trade blows. I did a video with the Z1 Extreme versus the Z2 in this. If you want to check that out, link will be in the description. At the beginning of the video, I mentioned there was one major downside to this handheld, and a lot of you already probably know what that is. That's going to be pricing. It's not cheap. The 1TB model with the Z2 Extreme, retail on this is $1,349. So it's coming in as one of the most expensive mainstream handhelds on the market. And they are offering one of these with the Z2, which is basically the Z1 Extreme kind of rebranded from AMD. It is a bit cheaper, but it's still over that $1,000 price tag. If they could have found a sweet spot on the price with this, I mean, I could definitely recommend it to a lot of people, especially given the screen here. This screen does beat anything else that we've seen in a handheld gaming PC like this so far, and I think it's really going to be hard to beat just because of that. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you're interested in learning a little more about the Lenovo Legion Go 2, I'll leave some links in the description, and I will have a couple more videos coming. I do want to test this out in dock mode and with an eGPU, so if there's anything else you want to see running on the Go 2, just let me know in the comments below. But that's it for this one. Like always, thanks for watching.